I'm sure you covered this after the meet, but I wasn't there. So just how exciting, refreshing, whatever the word may be, was it to perform on floor against that team, knowing what happened last year?
Yeah, it was really fun. I've mentioned this before, but competing in the PMAC was something that I had been looking forward to since I got hurt last year. So competing on floor routine in the PMAC is like a feeling of no other. And so it was just fun to get back out there. And then obviously, after the floor rotation and the floor routines my teammates did, like I just went out there to just enjoy myself, and I really did. So it was exciting.
I think a week ago, Connor was sitting here talking about bouncing back from an injury and mentally and all that. Are those kind of some conversations that some of the gymnasts have about making a comeback like you have?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all go through different things, and unfortunately, injuries are a big part of our sport. Um, but we're all super supportive of each other in and out of the gym. And so she's done amazing coming back and competing how she is as a freshman. She's done so well. And honestly, everybody on our team that went through a lot of stuff last year, everybody is clicking on all cylinders and just looks really good in practice.
Is this your second Achilles?
Yes.
Same?
No, this is the other side.
Just it's Jay was telling us that you were back, and I couldn't believe it, and then just to see how back you are, right? Like, just what was this rehab like for you as far as kind of having that baseline of going through it once, but also understanding that, yeah, this is going to be your last chance too.
It was very long and difficult at times, obviously, because it's a big injury and the recovery process takes a while. But like you said, I kind of had the little framework of what it was supposed to look like and how it was supposed to go because I did it a couple years ago. But as far as this one goes, I had so much help and extra resources at LSU, which I think sped up the process a little bit. And then after getting recovered, it was just more of a mental recovery and getting back into things. And so I think I'm in a good spot and where I want to be.
Maybe it's something you don't want to think about much, but how was it last year when everybody was kind of suffering with injuries and you're one of them you have to watch, and obviously your team performs well, you make it all the way down to Fort Worth, but what was that like going through that and having to watch?
I think at the beginning it was definitely difficult and different because I hadn't been in that position yet thus far in my career, but I quickly learned that I could still contribute to my team in other ways. And so that's kind of where my mindset switched, and I just wanted to be there for them as best I could and contribute even if it wasn't with my gymnastics. And to see them get as far as they did, it was awesome. And I think everybody really came together and was really motivated to just do as well as we could for each other.
Kiya, from 101 to Ohio State to the meet in Utah to last week, what was your mental framework like, your confidence in terms of, you've done all these performances and routines before and everything, but to get back and say, yeah, I don't have to worry about the Achilles anymore. I have to do, yeah, how did your confidence build to that point? I mean, had it been the same, or had you built up, was this like the ultimate, what you've seen so far this season in the Kentucky meet?
I think for me personally, my confidence has built each week as we've gone. Obviously, like you mentioned, I've competed all these same skills before and done them at a pretty good level. So for me, it's just been giving myself a little bit of grace as I get back. Kind of like I was just mentioning, I think confidence in something that you can continue to work at no matter the level of your performance. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me is just to continue to grow my confidence and consistency in practice to be able to feel super confident every Friday night.
How do you feel about the depth on the team right now? I read your quotes after the game. I think you said you were relaxed during the floor because everyone had kind of hit in front of you, right? So does the depth kind of build on itself in terms of scores and how well this team can do?
Yes, for sure. We have so many people that can do amazing routines, people that you guys haven't even seen yet, which I think is really, really cool. And to speak to floor on Friday night, like I said, I went out there with no anxiety, no pressure, none of the above because of the 5 hit routines before me. So it just allowed me to compete as free as possible and have fun.
The depth is one thing, but can you speak to the talent? It seems like kind of it really upgraded the talent around you guys, and it's not one or two girls trying to pull everybody with them.
Yeah, no, for sure. We have so many amazing gymnasts. Sometimes I sit back in practice and just look around, and there's so many cool things going on. Like, you look one direction, somebody's sticking, like, one of the hardest dismounts, or just people doing crazy gymnastics, and it's really, really good. We're really talented, and I think that it's brought a level of competition in a good way in practice to just everybody pushes each other to get better and compete better. So it's been really cool to have so much talent.
I think there were times at different disciplines, it was either you or Haley leading the huddle before you guys kind of get out there. How do you guys kind of balance that, sharing the load of being a leader on this team?
When it comes to meet day, I think it's definitely just whoever feels like they want to speak. We always have the idea that everybody can say whatever they want and lead the team in whatever way that they want. And so in those little huddles after each event, it kind of is just who's feeling it in that moment. Give a little motivational couple words to the team before we go to the next event.
Can we talk about your expressions a little bit? I don't know. I don't know if it was your last pass, but obviously when you nailed it, Jay obviously wants you to sell it more, right? But you sold it plenty, I guess.
Right. I think for me, that was just, I can't even really describe the emotions that I was feeling, but overall it was excitement, and you could see it like all over my face. But again, kind of going back to the depth, and like I said, my teammates did so great in front of me, so I was literally just having a blast. And it was, again, a moment that I had been looking forward to for a while after getting hurt. So all those emotions were just excitement.
But I see it on Beam too. Like I guess after every little piece, you like, is it a sense of accomplishment?
Yeah, I feel accomplished and excited. It's always really cool to just go into the PMAC in front of so many people and do what you do every single day in the gym. That feeling never gets old either. And so after I do my routines, I get pretty excited.
I think that's maybe something we take for granted because we see it every Friday. We don't go on the road with you guys, but Kentucky's coach even mentioned it. He's like, it's a show. You know, like, I mean, is it different here?
I think for me personally, I love the PMAC and competing in front of our fans. I think they're the best fans in the country, so it adds a little bit more excitement for me whenever we're home. But again, I love competing with my team, and so wherever we go, I feel like we're just as excited and proud of each other whenever we do well.
Taking the show on the road, then I guess Missouri, you know, first SEC road meet. How much did Utah and all that kind of help, you know, prepare for maybe some of the girls that aren't ready for this kind of thing?
I think Utah was a great experience. We were there for longer than we will be, so the trip is going to look a little bit different. But competing with different teams on the floor, I think, was really cool to get used to because we're about to get into SEC competition. So I think we'll just take the good from Utah, take the good from this week, and build on that at Missouri.
And last time we did this, Jay was talking about not overemphasizing Beam, just letting you guys kind of evolve into what you are. How did that work for the team this week? Obviously, everybody did well.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a wake-up call for us because we're such a good Beam team, and we know that. We just hadn't shown it. So there wasn't really anything that we did differently. We just stuck to us and did our normal Beam. That's what you guys saw on Friday was our normal, so it didn't feel different at all. Thank you.
Good job, guy. Thanks. Appreciate that support. You're not going to sit here with me while I... All right. Okay. Friday night, you know, it's a lot has been said. It was a great environment. First of all, I just want to thank our fans because you know, you just ask her about whether or not it's different. It is different, and we spend a lot of time together. It's something that not only our marketing people and our event management people and but our coaches staff, we all invest in that. We meet weekly and we go through and we try to make sure that it comes off as smoothly as possible, and we want it to be as big and as entertaining as it can be for our fans. So I just thank our fans for making it special for our team, because there's not places we go where there's, between 12 and 13,000 people, and with the level of volume and fervor and everything that goes with it here at LSU. It is special and it is different, and there's other places with big crowds, but this place is unique. So hats off to our fan base, and I hope that they'll continue to stay with us the rest of the year. We're excited about where we are, but we also turn the page. Whether it's a complete meet or a meet where we had mistakes, we talk to the team all the time about the most important thing is what happens next, and so we take the lessons when we make mistakes, and we take the good confidence building experiences kind of the same way. We've got to learn from every part of this ride that we're on, and continue to get better as we go. So we turn the page and move on to the next meet.
I just look back at the schedule last year. It didn't hit 198 till February 17th, so a month ahead of schedule there. What do you kind of attribute that to, and how does it show that in tune you guys are this early in the season?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, we're all, I think even gymnastics enthusiasts get in love with the score of a 198, and it's great, and it obviously means you did a lot right if you're scoring that. But at the same time, I don't know if we've ever had a target date that we'd like to be scoring a certain score. Scores are not things we can control. Judges see things differently week to week. You could put the same performance out there the very next week and get 5 or 6 tenths lower, or a few tenths higher, and it's the subjectivity of the sport is still there. So certainly proud of the performance, and that's what we concentrate on. That's where we put our focus is just on the level of our performance, and so I think it's great. I think it does show that we've kind of we've achieved a level of success in a particular meet earlier than maybe we have in the past. But it's only as good as what the next one looks like, because we've got to be able to sustain that and really grow in our confidence. I asked the team yesterday when we came in, I said, is that a flash in the pan, or is this who we are? And we've got to make a decision about that, because the first 2 weeks we didn't look like that, and so now what I'm hopeful and what I'm pushing for with them is that they grow in their confidence, and that they become incredibly intentional every day in practice about maintaining that level of intensity. We talk about the two things that make us successful, and they're not mutually exclusive. If you watch our hype videos or you watch anything, what you see is a mixture of intensity and joy. There's an intentional and a focus and a drive, but it's also joyful. And when they're loose and when they're having a good time, you got to combine those two. When those two things are there, there's the thing that's not seen there is that it's a really high level of confidence, and that's where we're at our best, and that's what we're striving to duplicate.
Can we just talk about Kiya for a little bit? What did she mean to you last year?
Kiya means everything to this team, to this program. Last year, when she went down, it was a gut punch for everybody. I mean, you saw the emotion. I've seen videos of the emotion of the rest of the team, and Aaliyah Finnegan just weeping in the middle of a meet, because Kiya represents virtually every attribute that we want our program to be, and they look to her, and so when she went down, it was difficult for everyone, but in many ways it also propelled them forward, because they want to honor that person. Kiya is, and there's others. We talk about Haley all the time in the same light, and we talk about Aaliyah and others. It's a set of attributes that I think has become part of the fabric of our program, and Kiya has certainly been instrumental and sort of a catalyst for what our culture looks like, and but she stayed with it. She never once felt sorry for herself. She stayed engaged. She kept her smile on. She was encouraging everybody, and when you have an athlete that handles their own adversity that way, because it's easy to go in the tank. It's easy to feel sorry for yourself. It's easy to become self-oriented in times of trouble like that, and she didn't do it. And it's a testament to the character. It's not just Coach sitting up here talking about what a great person she is. She is everything that we say that she is, and so she was a tremendous impact for us last year. And we're very, very fortunate. I feel blessed beyond measure that she decided she wanted to come back and do it one more time with us.
Yeah, how hard did she rehab? Or is that, again, when you told me, I was shocked that she was back as fast as she was.
As a general rule, Achilles tendons will rehab pretty well if you're diligent about and follow the protocols. She mentioned she had one early in her high school days where on the other leg that so she had kind of knew the drill and knew what was ahead of her, and it's a solid 6-month process before you really can begin to be released to do everything. But it's just like everything else about her. She's very disciplined and diligent, and she just quietly goes about her work, and that's the way she did her rehab too. But the cool thing is that prior to getting hurt, she wasn't sure if she wanted to come back, because we'd been nursing that thing. She was tired of being afraid and tired of it hurting, and it had been hurting for 2.5 years, and we were trying to manage our numbers and do everything we could, and so once it went, it was almost a relief. And like once that bubble popped, she was like, I think I want to do this again, because now I won't be afraid. And the nice part is that she's even mentioned before is that I don't go to her every 10 minutes, say, how's it feeling today? How are we doing today? Because I know she's feeling good. And the times that I do check on her, she's like, I'm good. I feel good. My legs feel good. My ankles feel good. Everything's good. So just having her back is just a tremendous boost for everybody.
Jay, you said you told the team you don't want to be a flash in the pan, but you've also said after the meet you want to balance. You want to be judicious with your lineup and
I do.
And it's the long haul. It's not just about this week, but it's the long haul. So how much thought have you already given to who might compete, who not? I assume you don't have your 24 lineup routine set yet, but how much thought have you given to it, and we'll give to it this week?
We spent a lot of time yesterday before we got back in the gym and as a staff and just talked about some goals that we'd like to have in terms of getting people rest, where those places in the season might go. We talked about that in December, and we're just kind of revisiting it again. I do think it's nice to know, particularly on floor, the leg events, that we have some options, which potentially gives us the opportunity to do that. But herein lies the thing. Like I've told y'all before, wins and losses don't mean a thing in terms of what happens ultimately in a season, but they mean something to us, right? So we have to we got to balance. I don't want to make decisions about what's best for the team or for a particular individual based on the desire to win a dual meet. As crazy as that sounds when you're in sport, because we want to win them all. And I get, the closer you get to a competition, the more clouded your judgment can come because you want to win. And so we've got to be very logical and methodical about what we do. I don't know what that looks like this week or any other week for that matter, but I do know that the goal from the get-go, if our depth held and if our depth was productive and if people were doing their jobs and could go in and not have a kind of a precipitous drop in our ability to score, we didn't want to ride Haley and Aaliyah and the same people over and over and over again. That's not a good place to be by the time you get to April. Fresh legs in April are very, very important. And so I don't know, Scott, exactly what that looks like, but I do know that it's in our conversations to try and pick our spots and make sure that we move the pieces around that we can and that we should without running a risk to really damaging our ability to keep the momentum going.
I guess my first question is, did Connor's beam routine change?
Yeah.
And then I guess what went into the decision of changing that, and will her triple series be added back later in the season?
Connor's training a lot of skills you don't see on every event for other reasons. But that series was something that she wanted to do, the initial one, and it's difficult and it's big and it's something that she does incredibly well. But I think after experiencing the first meet and feeling the difference between the pressure you feel when you're competing individually at an international meet versus competing for your school when the rest of your team's depending on you, there's a different feeling to that. And I think once she experienced that, she was more willing to make a change. And so it was an easy change. It was a one-day change, and we pulled her out for a week just to let her train it for 2 straight weeks before we put it back in there. And but Connor's leaps and toe point and everything are so good that compositionally that routine is going to be great for her and easy for her to do while she continues to train the increased difficulty behind the scenes.
That was Chase's first routine of the year, right?
Yeah.
On Friday.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
do you feel like it went, and where do you kind of continue to encourage?
Chase just needed to get her feet wet again. She'd been out of the gym for a little bit, and getting her back out there was important. And I know Chase, and Chase has to kind of dip her toe back in the water and feel good about what she did, and then move forward. It really wasn't a bad vault. It didn't score because she was very close to just nailing it, but just a little bit under rotated and caused those steps backwards. It really wasn't a bad vault, and so she's going to be fine. Chase is a great kid. I really enjoy being with her, and her story is a great story, and she's just a good kid.
How's Aaliyah's arm progressed, and what do you think What do you think? I know it's only Monday, but what do you think she can do this week?
It looks good. Saturday, it was significantly improved. Yesterday, we went in the gym. We held her out yesterday just because it was improving so well that we didn't think we needed to do a lot. The hope is that she's available on 3, everything but bars, but we'll see. We'll know more. What I've learned around here, man, things change in a 24-hour cycle so much with us. I'll come in one day thinking things are great, and the next day the trainer's telling me that somebody's out or at least partially out. So I try not to get too far ahead of myself. I have an idea of what we'd like to do this weekend, but we'll wait and see how things go through Wednesday and into the travel day on Thursday before we decide. Yeah, bars we had been going real slow with anyway because of a lot of gymnasts are what we call ulnar positive. You have 2 bones in your wrist, one's longer than the other, and so when you're taking a pounding, the one bone can absorb more of it than another, and it just was getting sore and just getting hot. When we looked at it with imagery, we didn't see anything overly concerning. It just was something we needed to be careful so that it didn't turn into anything else. So it's really been out of precaution. Now this thing that popped up Friday, was on the other side, and we have no idea what that was. We took X-rays, did everything. Everything looks good. She's feeling better. Again, it's just out of ultimate precaution. Could she have gone if we had forced the issue? Yeah, but there was no need to. As you see, we had other people who could go in, and we had those options, and still were able to put the scores up on the board.
I feel like we talked about it last year, but just seeing the crowd that you guys had Friday, the crowd that was in here yesterday,
Yeah.
the crowd that's going to be here Thursday.
Yeah.
Is there a better place for women's sports than LSU right now?
No, I don't think there's any question about it. And everybody's got their place they love, but it doesn't take a whole lot to look around here and see the support that we have in women's sports from our fan bases, the resources that we have from our athletic department. If there's a better place, I'd ask somebody to show it to me, because I don't see how there could be a better place right now for women's athletics, for athletics in general. The LSU brand is strong, and it's fun to be a part of it. It's fun we had a head coaches meeting this morning, and I enjoy being around everybody. I enjoy hearing what they have to say and hearing their perspectives in their sport, and trying to figure out how can I apply that to what we're doing, and how can I take that and modify it. And we've got some colorful personalities around here that are fun to listen to and to hear their perspectives. So it's a great environment. I'm happy to be here with it.
What do the younger girls on the team, girls like Connor and Amari, the girls we don't see like Kylie and Leah, what do they bring to the team in terms of like morale and just like boosting up their teammates? Could you speak to that?
Well, I think freshmen in general, you have to give them time. You know, we challenge everybody. You heard Kiya allude to it. We don't do captains. We don't assign leadership roles on a team the size of ours. We want to challenge everybody to use their leadership abilities in their own way. Everybody's got their own style. We tell everybody, you're leading one way or the other. You're either leading positively or you're leading negatively. And sometimes you lead by example. Sometimes you lead in your verbiage and your words. Sometimes you lead in keeping other people loose. Sometimes you lead in encouragement and bringing up other people around you. So we challenge them to figure out what their leadership style is, and they all, you know, most freshmen kind of, it takes a little while for them to warm up and figure out where they fit in that scenario. The main thing right now is just for them to be comfortable and happy and to be able to latch hold of. They all seem to latch hold of an upperclassman at some point who sort of mentors them and brings them along. And so, you know, I don't know that I could give you a specific definition of what each freshman is doing in terms of that, but I can tell you that they are a big part of our culture. They're unafraid to speak. I mean, our whole theme, Get There, came from Amari. Really, I mean, she's the first person that uttered that phrase, and everybody latched hold of it. So you know, the freshmen contribute in so many ways. It's really hard to quantify.
I don't know that I've ever asked you what's going on with Elena.
Elena's just got a chronic back issue that she's dealt with since her early teens, and it got hot in the fall, and we've just been having a difficult time getting it calmed down. You know, I don't really have any other details other than that. It's just your backs are a tricky thing, and we're doing everything we can to try to get it to where she's comfortable and can move around, you know, without being in any discomfort. But it's been a challenge, and she's frustrated. You know, I think we all are a little bit with it because we had hoped it would have made a lot more progress by now. But that's where Elena's at right now.
Then just taking the show on the road this weekend, what do you see in Missouri competing there, et cetera?
Missouri's a good team. I mean, Missouri, you know, there was a day before Shannon Welker got there that, you know, Missouri was a team that you could expect to do pretty well against. And these days, I mean, I think if I looked at the rankings today, I think 6 or 7 of the SEC teams are in the top 10. And Missouri's certainly an incredibly good team, and it's a hard place to win over there. I mean, we've a lot of teams, not just us. A lot of teams go in there and have difficulty. But look, we love Missouri. That's the way we're going to approach it. That's what we talked about yesterday. Our attitude is we can't wait to get over there. We can't wait to embrace that. We can't wait to get in their environment and have some fun with it. Our intention is to be the same team we were in here on Friday night, just from an outlook standpoint, and go get it. You know, we're kind of trying to create that attack aggressive mindset that we need to have the rest of the way. We feel good about the fact we got over some of the early, you know, first 2 meet hiccups, and let's ride this wave and let's go. Thank you.